Okay.
I was the first child born to Bernard and Flora Fleury on Flag Day, June 14, 1932. We lived next door to my maternal grandparents in the country outskirts of a small mill town. I grew very attached to them beginning when I was a little more than 3 years old, and stayed with them when my sister, the first of 3 siblings, was born. I love plants and animals. When I was in first grade, my grandma gave me my first flowers from my own garden and taught me how to care for them. At about the same time, she also gave me a pair of Bantam chickens. And my dad, a fine carpenter, built a small coop for them. I remember how scared I was when the little hen was setting on 6 eggs that were to hatch on the day after we had a violent thunderstorm. Grandma said they probably wouldn't hatch because of the storm. Wrong. Next morning, all 6 fluffy chicks were peeking out from under the little hen's breast and wings. I like to go fishing and spend many a day at one or another of nearby streams. I joined 4-H Garden and Poultry Club at age 10, and then became a Boy Scout and an altar boy at age 11. Music and dance also attracted me. I took piano lessons, but when I didn't practice enough, my mother, a great pianist and singer, made me quit. Instead, in 7th grade, I started tap dancing lessons and continued through high school. At 14, I joined the Grange that had a great youth group, many of which were my close friends. We were active in square dancing, community activities, and fair exhibits. It was here that I also met my future wife. As a young man in my early 20s, I served as master of our local Grange. In high school, I participated in all the annual musical shows, singing and tap dancing. I also danced solo or with my cute blonde partner in musicals in our local theater and in surrounding towns. At 16, a talent scout from New York City who saw us perform offered us a job in the Big Apple. But both parents said we were just too young to be in the big city. Like many others, I spent years deciding what I wanted to do with my life. My love for animals drew me to a friendship with the aging veterinarian who lived just up the street from us. He tended to all my sick animals at no charge, and I loved helping him when he needed help. He also had some idea that I would make a good vet and kept updating his equipment for the boy. I broke his heart when I told him we could not afford the Pennsylvania veterinary school as it was too expensive for my carpenter dad who had 4 children to raise. After becoming an altar boy at age 11, I began to think about the priesthood. I loved the liturgy. Besides Sunday Mass that our family faithfully attended each week, I was also drawn to the Holy Week liturgies that were long services and in Latin. I was transfixed by the ceremonies and music. In the fall of 1949, after graduating from high school in June, I entered St. Charles College in Maryland, graduating in 1951. I wanted to be a teaching priest in the seminary, so I needed to earn a bachelor's degree. The major seminary in Montreal that my bishop demanded I attend required students to study courses like algebra and chemistry in French, and I was not fluent in French. In fall of 1953, I graduated from my state university with a bachelor's degree in history, a teacher certification, and re-entered the seminary for 1 year of philosophy. At the end of that year, my spiritual director told me to go home, get married, and become a teacher. My years of discernment were over. In 1954, I began my teaching career as a teaching principal and coach at a small country school, and also became engaged to the girl I met in Grange 7 years before. We were married in August 1955, have 2 adult children, a son and a daughter, and 1 grown grandson. Our children grew up as we had, on a small farm, gardens and chickens and dogs and cats and horses. In 1956, I earned a master's degree and then a doctorate in 1968. After 13 years in public school teaching and administration, I became a professor at what is now Westfield State University. My college career as a professor and director of school administration lasted 32 years. During that time, I also served simultaneously for 16 years at a college in the Cayman Islands, creating and administrating a teacher education program. It was a combination of distance, administration, and on-site from 1 to 3 months each year, ending with 1 term as president of the college. During these years, beginning with my ordination as a permanent Roman Catholic deacon in 1983, I served in my diocese and in the Cayman Islands. We now live on a small farm in the foothills of the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts.